Good morning. Dear friends, we are in trouble. We are in deep trouble with climate change. Climate change is running faster than we are, and we must catch up sooner rather than later, before it is too late. For many people, regions, even countries, this is already a matter of life or death. It is hard to overstate the urgency of our situation. We are still not doing enough, not moving fast enough to prevent irreversible and catastrophic climate disruption. These are not my words. This was the opening remarks of United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres in the UN COP24 meeting held in Katowice, Poland, just last December 2018. It was a stern warning about our future. This alarming statement was based on the October 2018 report by the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which said that in a little over a decade, the world will fully feel the irreversible effects of climate change. The world could hit 1.5 degrees Celsius warmer as soon as 11 years from now in 2030, with devastating impact. Already we experience the effects through the frequency and intensity of natural calamities. Locally, typhoons, droughts, heat waves, landslides have resulted in hundreds of casualties and billions in economic losses. And yet, it has been difficult to raise awareness and come up with a clear plan of action, especially since these calamities are not reported as connected with the changing pattern of our climate. Last year's annual report theme of "We are running out of time" cannot be overstated. This is certainly not the kind of legacy we want to leave for our future generation. What do we have to do to make life better for our children and grandchildren? That's what we all have to think about. This is a responsibility for all, but more so for today's leaders in government and in industries who contribute the most to global warming to meet the energy requirements of an ever-growing population. We need to act now and act fast, otherwise it will only get worse. At First Gen, we have dared to initiate a change in mindset that needs to happen. Our deep concern over climate change and global warming has led us to make thoughtful and conscious strategic decisions that have led to our choices to focus on clean and renewable energies to power our growing economy. This is coming from natural gas, geothermal, hydroelectric, solar, and wind. Moreover, they were developed with cost competitiveness and affordability as a priority with the Filipino consumers in mind. This is what makes us unique. This is what distinguishes First Gen vis-a-vis our competition. At the First Gen Clean Energy Complex in Batangas, we have developed a fleet of over 2,000 megawatts of clean, flexible, and reliable natural gas-fired power plants, which are still the best to complement the intermittency of renewable energy such as solar and wind. Our geothermal platform of 1,200 megawatts, on the other hand, is the only 24/7 baseload renewable energy among all renewable energy technologies. Without sacrificing the ability to provide energy for the demand of today, we are doing all that we can to secure our future by maintaining a low carbon footprint with the least impact on the environment. We are proving that it can be done. At first gen, our total capacity of 3,500 megawatts accounts for 21% of our country's gross generation. The amount of carbon emissions that our 3,500 megawatt capacity emits is equivalent to the emissions of a 1,000 megawatt conventional coal-fired plant. This means that the company produces over 3.5 times the power for the same amount of carbon emissions, and at a competitive price, an affordable price, as I mentioned earlier. Moreover, producing power using our clean energy plants has avoided the release of approximately 15 million tons of carbon emissions, equivalent to removing approximately 3 million vehicles from the road. So we are indeed proving that it can be done. The year 2018 marked significant progress in our operations, wherein we achieved transformative milestones. Through the steadfast work of our people, our partners, we made substantial headway in our long-term goals. Let me elaborate on the big bets we have made and how they are paying off. First is San Gabriel's stellar performance. Last June 26, we clinched a 6-year power supply agreement that contracted the full capacity of our 420 megawatt San Gabriel plant to Meralco. The San Gabriel contract underwent a competitive selection process, and this is controversial today, but in our case, it underwent a competitive selection process and was in fact provisionally approved by the Energy Regulatory Commission in June 2018, further demonstrating the cost competitiveness of this modern gas-fired power plant and its distinct, flexible operating capabilities that have proven vital to the grid. And with this contract with Meralco in place, starting in the second half of 2018, San Gabriel's earnings capability was protected from seasonally low spot prices usually experienced in the second half of the year. It has added to Santa Rita and San Lorenzo in delivering stable earnings to First Gen. And consequently, First Gen's contracted capacity increased to over 90% by the end of 2018. The second highlight is that our LNG terminal development is on track. The shift to natural gas-fired power plants is the first step towards a cleaner energy future for our country. First Gen has made a breakthrough in this ongoing development of the country's first LNG terminal. Last December, the company signed a joint development agreement with Tokyo Gas for the latter's 20% participating interest in the LNG terminal project. Tokyo Gas, as many probably are already aware, is a global leader and one of the largest LNG buyers in the world. They bring much to the table, as knowledge sharing will play a huge part in our venture. Furthermore, their vast experience in the development, financing, construction, and operations of LNG storage and regasification facilities make them an ideal partner for First Gen. Then just last March 7, 2019, our LNG terminal project was granted a notice to proceed by the Department of Energy. This affirms that the work that we have done so far in our planned LNG terminal is thorough and comprehensive. Furthermore, strong interest in the project from both local and international players validate the vital role of LNG in the country to ensure the continuous operations of our existing natural gas plants. It also allows us the ability to expand and it highlights the importance in the transition to a clean energy future. Going forward, we aim to finalize the financing for the project, execute the relevant key project agreements, including LNG supply, and firm up our strategic partners for the project. In fact, we are going to have our formal groundbreaking at the end of the month. The third highlight is that our typhoon-hit geothermal plants are now operational, and that EDC's cost optimization is paying off. As previously reported, the 540 megawatt Leyte geothermal plants were beleaguered by two natural calamities in 2017 that reduced its ability to generate full capacity in 2018. The first was the 6.5 magnitude earthquake in July 2017 that damaged our unified Leyte and Tongon power plants. The second was Typhoon Urduha, which made landfall in December 2017. This typhoon poured 15 days worth of rainfall over a period of 24 hours. And although the typhoon did not inflict significant damage on the Leyte plants, thanks to previous typhoon-proofing efforts, it caused landslides that damaged the steam pipelines, which brought down the capacity of the plant to just 207 megawatts by the end of 2017. So, as you can imagine, much of 2018 was spent tirelessly restoring the damaged plants. And I'm pleased to report that all this hard work and persistence has paid off, such that by the third quarter of 2018, the Leyte plants were back to their pre-earthquake level ahead of schedule. Moving forward in 2019, we can expect normal geothermal plant operations after the full restoration of the Leyte plants. And EDC has likewise been investing in various resiliency programs to better mitigate the company's vulnerability to natural calamities and quickly recover from their effects. Our fourth highlight is the successful delisting of EDC. EDC concluded its 14.6 billion peso tender offer last November 2018. This reduced the public float from 10.9% to just 0.2%. The tender offer was done at 7 pesos and 25 centavos per share, the same price as the 2017 earlier tender offer of Philippine Renewable Energy Holdings Corporation. This allowed minority shareholders to exit and realize their investment at a 46% premium to the closing share price the day prior to the announcement. Today, FirstGen holds 46% economic stake and a 65% voting stake in EDC. By taking EDC private, FirstGen has become a more attractive investment option for equity investors looking to seek value in clean, low-carbon energy in the Philippines. Moreover, the delisting of EDC is expected to bring greater flexibility around EDC's dividend policy and leverage to enable its long gestation projects to continue. FirstGen will continue to enhance its investment in EDC and take advantage of the strategic partnership we established with Macquarie Infrastructure and the Government Investment Corporation of Singapore. Then fifth is the improved capital structure of FirstGen. FirstGen has been successful in its deleveraging initiatives in order to improve the company's capital structure. On July 25, 2018, FirstGen prepaid its outstanding $119 million Series F preferred shares. In the same year, FirstGen also paid down the remaining $92 million of its $300 million bond. And then one of our subsidiaries, FirstGen Hydropower Corporation, also became debt-free in 2018 as it repaid its remaining loans amounting to 980 million pesos. Moreover, in line with EDC's initiatives to manage its foreign exchange exposure, the company paid down its 80 million syndicated term loan facility in June of last year and replaced this with 3-year Philippine peso denominated floating loans it executed with various banks. With this initiative, FirstGen's consolidated debt at the end of 2018 was at $2.2 billion, lower than the high of $3 billion in 2015 and $2.5 billion in 2017. As a result, total interest expenses and preferred share dividends booked by FirstGen in 2018 declined by 22% to $157 million in 2018 from a much higher $203 million in 2017. All of these highlights have contributed to the stellar financial performance in 2018. As far as our revenues are concerned, FirstGen's consolidated revenues from electricity sales increased to $2 billion for 2018, making a 16% increase from $1.7 billion in 2017. The natural gas platform's revenue contribution increased by close to 20%, mainly due to San Gabriel's impressive spot market sales during the first half of 2018, along with the beginning of the power sales agreement with Meralco in June. This was further supplemented by improved reliability of the 1,500 megawatt Santa Rita and San Lorenzo natural gas-fired power plants. EDC also reported higher revenues, primarily driven by the higher sales volume and higher average selling price coming from its geothermal plants. And as far as our recurring net income is concerned, it reached an all-time high of $243 million, which grew by 50.8% from $161 million in 2017. The natural gas platform's higher revenues and lower interest expenses from our deleveraging efforts further contributed to the strong increase. The surge in our recurring net income was partially offset by EDC's lower contribution, mainly from the reduced economic stake of FirstGen in EDC following the company's participation in the tender offer for EDC shares in September 2017. Can you advance it? Go. Go. Okay. Go. Okay. Go. Okay. We saw the opportunity to focus our portfolio towards clean natural gas and renewable energy. Furthermore, seeing and experiencing the drastic effects of natural disasters merely validates that this shift was necessary and is worth the effort. We gained recognition last 2017 as the Green Company of the Year at the Asia CEO Awards. We are grateful for the recognition, But clearly what is more important is that we inspire and encourage government and other stakeholders to follow suit. If we continue with the business as usual mentality, I am certain that our current situation will only get worse. And we need the collective effort of the community as well as businesses. And that there is more to, and that everyone should be involved. And as earlier reported with the chairman, and in line with this, we are pleased to see positive developments from various key stakeholders. Just this year, in February 2019, the Institute for Energy Economics and Financial Analysis released a report highlighting that over 100 global financial institutions are exiting coal, and that every 2 weeks, a bank, insurer, or lender announces new restrictions on any coal financing. It reports that global capital is fleeing the coal sector, and that this is no passing fad. So it just highlights the fact that our current platform, and how the chairman described this, reading the tea leaves, in focusing on natural gas and renewable energy, is exactly the direction that FirstGen wants to take, because it allows for a much brighter future for your company. I take heart from the brave proclamations of a 15-year-old climate justice advocate. Her name is Greta Thunberg of Sweden. I'd like to quote her, and she says, "Everyone keeps saying that climate change is an existential threat and the most important issue of all. And yet they just carry on like before. If the emissions have to stop, then we must stop the emissions. There are no gray areas when it comes to survival. Either we go on as a civilization or we don't. We have to change," close quote. For those of you who are not familiar with Greta, she was first featured in news reports just last August, when she began to miss school every Friday to stand in front of the Swedish House of Parliament to protest against the lack of urgency to address climate change. She has since found a lot of support from fellow youth all over the world, and been prominently featured in global events like the UN COP24 Summit, the World Economic Forum, and the European Union Parliament. You can watch Greta on YouTube, and you will be amazed about her clarity in thinking and her frustration with leaders today who are not acting responsibly. So if we do not want to listen to adults, then maybe we should in fact listen to our children. So to us at FirstGen, finding a way for our business to participate in attaining climate justice is the only direction we can, in good conscience, make. We adhere to our Lopez Credo and values, which underscore social justice through business excellence and a pioneering entrepreneurial spirit. FirstGen's motto has never been a passive one. We care, we dare, and we will do it all hands on deck. Once again, thank you for your unwavering and continued support.